have a boss whole nigga beside me.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of Simply Winter M, the podcast. Tonight is our season premiere, and forgive me so much for the delay. I've been sick and I've been journeying through a few things personally, but we're here. Tonight, we visit the first episode, Boss Chick with LaVonda McIntosh. Vonda, thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank you for being interested in my life.
Your life story is inspiring. A lot of us from Gary know you as the pioneer of the female promoter era, you know.
Right.
So introduce yourself to the audience and tell us a little bit about who you are.
Okay, well, I'm LaVonda McIntosh, born and raised in Gary, Indiana. It's a lot to me, but then it's not a lot to me. I'm a typical girl raised up, just like all of us are from the bricks of Gary, Indiana, learning our way, finding our way. I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, and I'm a sister, a big sister, and pretty much just making it through life daily, trying to do the best I can to stay grounded, stay thankful. I'm blessed. I'm a child of God. I believe in God. I believe in having faith and hope. If you don't have hope in anything you do in this world, you don't have nothing to really live for. So I just stay prayerful, try to stay faithful to my family. I'm a mother of 4, got 2 grown kids, 2 teenagers. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
So I titled this episode Boss Chick because you are a woman of multifacets. Like you said, you're a mother, you're a grandmother, you a businesswoman, you're a promoter. You sort of carry the torch of the upcoming matriarch of your family. What does that feel like for you?
Yeah, I guess you can kind of say that. I do try to hold a torch in my family of keeping us together, keeping us grounded and connected, because when you going through life and you start to figure yourself out, you start to realize who God created you to be. And I started coming into that really tough when I turned 45, just really realizing that burden that it may feel like sometime, and then you have to turn it into a blessing. It gets heavy sometime, but yeah, I guess you can say that is true, a matriarch, just trying to be the strength when my mom don't have it, and my dad being a man, but he got all girls, and just trying to have the wisdom to try to, carry things on, because for holidays and things like that, it's like if I don't do nothing, it's like when I moved to Houston, it was like no more barbecues, no more nothing happening. But you know how when you go through life being that, you hit a point where it gets heavy and you try to figure out, that will start messing with you, trying to figure out, trying to make you feel make it feel negative. So I had to learn how to realize that that's a blessing. I have to carry that. And God been building me up all over through the years to get to where I'm at now. So now I'm looking at it in a positive way and appreciating the position God has placed me in. Yeah.
It's sort of like that stigma of the oldest child. You know how like some can bear it and be okay with it, but for some it can turn them bitter,
Yeah.
having all that responsibility.
It used to have me bitter because you feel like why nobody never care about, like, why is it always me?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I was bitter. At first, because it was just like I didn't, you go through being like a caretaker, and you feel like that's all people think you're good for, or it was just a time where I did feel that bitterness, but then I started looking at other people's situations, how people didn't have that. Then I had to realize that I created that too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
trying to create something that I always try to give people something I feel like I never had. So I had to realize a lot of monsters I created, and I had to start realizing who I was going to give it to. Like, I had to have boundaries and just realizing who deserved it, because some people, they pick up on it real quick that you're like a certain type of way. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Or drop a handkerchief and be like, she gonna pick it up. So when I start sorting that out and realizing it's not a bad trait to be, it's just picking and choosing who deserves it and
Yeah.
appreciates it. So when I
Yeah.
figured all that out, did my self journey, start doing my monologues, start doing things to feed myself, to learn who I was, researching. I went through a whole period of singleness and um, isolated myself, and then I came back different.
What can you share about how you got into such a male dominated role as a promoter in the industry of preparing events and giving back to the community? Like, what pushed you to do that and to go the lengths that you go? Like, you carry our city on your back. Like, how did it all start?
I was always like, when I was younger, doing little, when I was young, I realized like I'll have different friends, right? So some people couldn't like mess with other people and all of that. So I always was in the center of friendships. Even as younger as 10, I could remember having two people that didn't like each other, but I would make them get along because I would help them see that what I saw in that person. So it just comes from bringing people together. And when you bring people, I just get a kick out of bringing people together. Like, and a lot of times when you want people to come together, what? It's a party, it's a get together, it's something like that. So just bringing people together, not feeding into nothing negative about nothing, like, oh, I don't like, I just, no. Because a lot of times when people see that you're not doing that, then they're either going to shy away, or they know if they want to be around, they can't be on that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
because it's fun, I just started doing it. And over the years, people just know you from that. So when people suggest something or come up with something, they'll call you.
Yeah.
I just got a phone call as early as today. You know, People will call you for different things, but I just like bringing people together. I like creating things. I like making nothing out of something.
Yeah.
So it's just come from who I am. That's it.
Yeah.
And
What are
always filling in the gaps of what's needed too.
It's all a part of your natural instinct to provide and nurture.
Yeah,
So if that's what you
that's what
got to
it
do
is.
in creating these events, that's what
Yeah,
you do.
yeah, yeah. That's basically what it is. It's like producing something that's gonna be good. Yeah.
What are some of the biggest challenges you face as a promoter?
Um, just the biggest challenge sometimes for me be people that, just be hating about the littlest things or
Mhm.
whatever. Most part, I don't really deal with people that's gonna come out and just blankly do it. It's always, little stuff to go on in the background. But it's just always somebody trying to capitalize or do something to try to sabotage or something like that, but I really don't, because I'm in control of everything. So the biggest thing for me is just when people just hate. But other than that, it doesn't stop anything.
Okay, so since you brought up hating, walk us through your biggest event, which is the yearly Screaming Wheels reunion, which I know I was there. I brought the
Yeah,
podcast with me live this
yeah, you
year.
did.
Walk us through how you came about successfully bringing that to life, the reunion to life for us, as well as I think it was like the first or the second year, the little drama that some of the original
Oh, yeah.
skate people had with the fact that you were the actual person to throw it.
Well, first, there's a lot of behind the scenes people didn't know about. Of course, it was brought, like someone posted a logo of the old Screaming Wheels logo. And then someone said, well, we should have a reunion. Then people start tagging me saying we should, because they know I do parties or whatever, they start tagging me. And I was like, it was like a little group of friends, like childhood friends. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna see what I can do or whatever. So talk to the skating ring, some little stuff like that or whatever. And then it was supposed to be just between like us, but then we was like, well, let's just put it out and see who want to go. And you know how Facebook go, you get a hit, sometimes you don't. But we just put it out there, but it wasn't like planning nothing to be real big. It was just something within us, and we wouldn't want to just say it was just going to be us. We said we can open it to everybody else. Well, anyway, they started sharing it, and it started getting big. So I was like, okay. So I took in consideration because I try to think everything that bad could be, because I'm always trying to make sure I'm not offending nobody. But at the end of the day, you're never going to not offend nobody. So I
Mhm,
learned that too.
mhm.
So, but your intentions is good. So I reached out for a blessing, not permission, because I do events, produce events on a professional level, not just throwing a party. So I already knew that I was able to do it because it was closed. It was an entity that was no longer there, and it was just an event. It wasn't so I asked for the blessings, just to say, hey, come out, be a part or whatever. And it was accepted, and the showed up or whatever. But then I don't know, dollar signs, or I don't know what happened. But from there, that's when, because it wasn't a problem when the blessing was asked, but after it happened, it became a problem. So the only thing I can think was, about money. But what people don't understand, it takes money to do stuff. So
Talk about it.
nobody never cares or interested in what it takes. And then it was something about I wasn't, supposed to be doing it, or I'm from Gary. So, it's an event. Anybody can have a reunion, and you can have a reunion anywhere. So by any means, if someone felt like that's what they wanted to do, you can still do it. I can't stop nobody. If someone went and did a Screaming Wheels reunion, I can't stop nobody from doing a reunion or get mad. I'm not going to get mad, because everybody have their own knack, or however they want to do things, or maybe their own clique or whatever. I mean, I don't get off into all that. But it was, they felt like it was about money. I was capitalizing. Like, I just came out the sky and started doing, like, if I didn't put Screaming Wheels on, it wouldn't, I've been doing stuff. So it wasn't, you have to take in consideration when things happen good, it's a factor of different things that come and make one thing. It ain't just
Mm-hmm.
one thing. It was the people that received it, the person that
Mm-hmm.
was doing it. I didn't just wake up one day and did something. I was known for doing stuff already. I am from Gary, and that's the way it happened. It was about skating and paying homage, and I paid homage. I did, and
Mm-hmm.
at some point, no more. It wasn't received. Even gave donation,
Listen,
gave
I was
money,
there.
and was said that I did not. I don't have to lie, but I ain't got to keep giving it either. If you're not accepting it, then you're gonna lie and say it didn't happen. Then okay, that's fine, and I understand, but it's just wrong for everyone to could capitalize off of it if it was about capitalization. But like I said, it wasn't. It's not an easy thing. It's not easy, to have, even with having to worry about things happening and stuff being on your time and on your watch, and people being safe and all of that. It's a big responsibility to be responsible for a certain amount of people.
Right, because I go, I
Yeah,
always come,
yeah,
and so for me, just as a patron, I worked it this year, but just as a patron, it seemed like you put in more than you get out. You give
I
away
do.
prizes. We do
Yeah,
the original dollar game from back in the day, and you give
yeah,
out a prize for that. You pay tribute and homage to the original skate guards and cash prizes and envelopes. Like, you honor them so
yeah.
eloquently.
When I started it, we were blessed to be able to have beer and wine and things like that. And then then you realize that, okay, you spoil people with that. So then when it's not, so let's, the overall thing is to bring us together, and it's things like that. But it's like, it's for the skating era. It's an era that we will never probably experience again. And I try to focus on the skating, but of course, do we up in age? A lot of us don't skate anymore and things
Mm-hmm.
like that. But it's a positive event,
Event, yeah.
intentions. It's not for people. I know that people have probably came and drank whatever, but that wasn't the main focus. So I've heard negative things and things like that. But see, me, I don't get into, because I don't get into certain things as a 50-year-old woman anymore, for the simple fact that I lived my life in that life, and I was from an era before the internet. And
Mhm.
being on the internet, going back and forth and doing that, it does absolutely nothing for me,
Yeah,
because ain't nobody do nothing to not
right. You
like
on the
what.
internet, yeah.
Everybody got cuss words. Everybody know how to, what I'm saying, hit below the belt, use things that and about people and stuff like that. I just think stuff like that is bad luck. So I don't get involved in stuff like that. But I have heard, I've even seen things that people had to say and things like that. And then it's kind of sad, because that just means it wasn't for you.
The most question that I always hear when it comes to the reunion is, where's Tank? Like, one of the original skate
Yeah.
guards from back in the day. Like, where is he? Like, were you unable to locate
Someone got
him?
me on the phone with him, and he's been invited, but he don't come. I think because he be busy. I heard he was a coach or something,
Okay.
and things like that. But people do be reaching out and stuff like that.
Because with the exception of him, we have seen everybody else grace the skate
Yes,
floor on
yes,
that night.
yes.
We have seen Mike Giles, we have seen Dion,
Everybody,
we
yep.
of course
Everybody
Cortez
embrace.
and
Everybody
Cat.
embrace it. Yeah, everybody embrace. I mean, it really, really, really warms my heart to just see people come together,
Hmm.
and we only know what that is.
Yeah.
you know we only know what that is. So yeah, it definitely was, definitely it hit the spot of what it was supposed to do.
Some ethical consideration that you think our promoters who try to put together events in that magnitude, because like I say, you paid 1 year, you paid tribute to Victor V, and what do you
Um,
think other up and coming promoters should take into consideration as they try to put for an event such as yours for the community?
I think I would say a good promoter would be able to read the room and also know your market or who you're dealing with and who you're catering to. Sometimes, as a promoter, you probably something happened and you might go for something and then you get something else. I think that safety is real important. Making sure people are safe and making sure you plan out what you're doing to make sure people have a good experience, not a party where you make, about making money, because if you're just doing it for the money, you're doing it for the wrong reason.
Yeah. Well, baby, I don't skate no more. You see, I brought them, but I ain't get on them. These knees said, girl, I dare you try me.
Yeah,
I dare
yeah.
you try me, and I'm going to embarrass you right out there on that skate floor. So, I don't know. This may have been my last year, but, I wish you continue success and blessings when it comes to the reunion.
2026 is going to be the 10th year, 16th. So that was 9. And I got a surprise for 2026. So I announced it later.
Okay, so y'all stay tuned. If y'all go to the
Yeah.
reunion, y'all stay tuned. Y'all know something big gonna happen this year, so y'all stay tuned. You ready to break the ice and get into some deep personal stuff?
Yeah, I'm ready.
What was your inspiration to move to Houston, Texas, then ultimately return home?
Um, so like I was saying before, you get to a point where you need to get away from all the noise, the demands. Um,
Especially, let me tap into that. Especially when you're in a broken place. As you know, like my podcast is built around a broken place and the role that faith, family, and foundation plays in helping you pull yourself up out of the place. When you are in the broken place,
yeah,
the busyness of the world and family and friends and connections and obligations and duties become way too loud for you to take care of yourself.
yep. And that's what it was. Um, the I researched Texas. I was going to Dallas at first. I took my time. I researched. I had 2 children. I had ended up adopting. I had them as a foster parent when my kids got grown out the house, and I had a house, and I wasn't ready to let go of the house. And you know how kids is when they get grown. You like, well, just go in the basement. You know, give me $200. They like, no, I'm going to get my own place. So everybody's ready. I did adopt. I did foster care, just temporary. Wasn't you know trying to do nothing. Long term. Just trying to help out where I can help out. End up, that's another story. Parents lost their rights unsuspectedly because the foster care system, they don't tell you nothing. They trying to place these kids, and they gonna keep they let you get attached to them, and they keep all the details of how it's going to they self because they scared you're gonna so
Pull out, yeah.
yeah. So now, bam, parents lost their rights. What you gonna do?
I love these kids. So I'm gonna keep them. Yeah, yeah.
Like, what of grandparents? What But anyway, so okay, now I got these kids. Okay, now they little, but I'm gonna live up to the responsibility. Anything that I accept, I do always just try to do right. If it's a dog, I'm gonna make sure I take care of that dog right. So now I got these kids, and everything is hard, right? Because now you can't do certain things that you was doing because you have back at your little children. So I don't know, it's just like a rubber band pop one day. And I started saying, I have to get away. I was not happy. I was tired of pretending like I was. And then like every day, like it was snapping, snapping, snapping. So I end up everything had closed but Texas. So, but as soon as I was ready to go, Texas closed. So I was like, okay, I can't go right now because who gonna watch these kids and stuff like that. So I waited, and then I just after the summer passed out of 2021, I went, just got up, just went, and I went there, had all these plans. Now I got a new breath of life, a new chance, hope, right? Because remember, I was saying at first, when you don't have no hope, I got hope again. I'm recreating myself. I'm bringing my talents. Took my talents and took them on the road. I'm in Houston now, and I got the networking, and I'm doing fairly well with networking because it's a whole different energy there. You know, whole different energy. People, you don't have to have 50,000 followers. You don't have to have a big name. All you need is hope and ambition and a talent, and people respect you for your talent or what you bring to the table, and they just think you wonderful. You think they wonderful. Come on, what you want to do? So I already had the tools. Now I'm in a place where I can thrive. So had a few events. Had my homegirl Keisha come out. Few successful events. Just was nothing. The work, your work ethic when it's already high, you go somewhere and it's easy. So everything was good. I made friends and business associates and things like that. And things was going good. Raising the kids up, they're experiencing things that they wouldn't experience here, made friends and all of that. But then, of course, suffered a loss. And then from there, it was just like one of those, like, dang. It's like time stopped right there. Yeah. Time stopped right there because now, I'm trying to figure out, because you remember I started, while I was there, I was able to focus on my monologue. So that was therapy for me. And it's always hard because everybody look at me like I'm the strong one. So it's never nobody to talk to, because if you break down and they're like, wait a minute. Well, nobody will hear what you got to say.
Yeah, nobody ever expect the strong one to break down.
No, so I had to create a way to get it out. And that's when I started my monologue. But when I did my monologue, I started from the loss of a best friend, because that's something I was carrying and I needed to get it out because I didn't ever talk about how it affected me because I had guilt about feeling anything because of her children. So I didn't want to be selfish enough to say I felt like anything because it was like, So I went through the monologue. It was like my therapy. And then a year or so later, then I lost another close person. So that was, so that was like, okay. Who knew that you would do a monologue and then she's somebody that I was with when I was making it.
Right.
And she would always be like, because she didn't, the way she dealt with stuff, it was different. So she was like, how you reliving that like that? And I'm like, it was therapy. So just to know, like, it was rough. But from there, things started, then I went through trying to, cope with that. And then my mom got sick. So I was running back and forth because now it's like, okay, she's getting sick. The level of care that she's getting to, my sisters, they, kind of, my younger sister had always cared for my mom, but she ended up getting married. Now she had a husband and children. And so I was coming back and forth trying to help because she's a kidney failure. So her level of care started getting higher and she was becoming she needed more care. And then she was getting to the point where you had to stay on her and stuff, and you only certain people was going to be able to do that. And I started dealing with so she was supposed to get a kidney transplant, but after talking to the doctors, they felt like it wouldn't work. But she kind of was depressed about that. And I remember thinking to myself, well, we're going to encourage her not to get it, but not be there with her through the process of not getting it. So we're going to say, Mama, don't get the kidney transplant. Then we're going to go on with our life. But she's the one having to get on the dialysis every night. She had to put her, because she does it from home. So she have to open the boxes, get the bags, and do that long walk down the hallway every night to go to get on her thing at treatment at night. So I came in town, helping with that, taking some responsibility off my sister now, but the back and forth started taking a toll. So now I got to make a decision if I'm going to tell these children we finna uproot and go back, or tell my mama, I can't stay. Of course, I'm back, and the decision was to come, but then I still went through something with that because we're dealing with teenagers that's broken, that had made their life there, had just finally got settled, and now they're getting uprooted and having to come back. So now I knew that was going to cost me something. So I went through something with that. And stuck through that, made it through, because God already chose me to do it. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm doing now, taking care of my mother and revamping and rebranding myself, because I had to shut everything down and focus on that. I had started a drug testing business right before I was getting ready to leave. So I was looking forward to that. And life happened. But I learned that phrase. I learned what that phrase meant. If you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans.
Listen.
When I say all this, what they
mean, yeah.
Yeah. So I just learned that stay healthy, accept who you are, and God have a plan for me, and I'm going to be okay. Keep working the things that I'm passionate about. I can do it in silence. I don't have to have everybody know what I do and all of that, because it's not for that. Everything I do is for me and my heart. And I'm just working on things silently, keeping it together, I know for a fact that me coming back, caring for my mother, added some years onto her life, and just going through that journey with her, making sure my kids grow up to be productive citizens and not be a victim of their past or what they've been through, understanding that assignment, because they lost their biological mother since we've been back. So just understanding God's plan for me and just being happy and healthy, and just, I can't even, like, at first, how you go through life like, okay, when it's going to be my turn, my big and things keep happening, and then you realize, like, this is your life. Yeah, this is your life.
So you touched on the monologue a little bit. I want to get more intimately into that, because I did watch the monologue. I was so honored to be amongst one of the first people, because I was in Houston, Texas, and it brought me to tears to just watch you walk that walk. So what are some of your favorite memories with your best friend?
It's a lot of them. But my favorite one is when we went to Milwaukee at 12 and 14 years old. We went at 12 and 14 years old, caught a Greyhound bus, and went to Milwaukee.
Wow, y'all was bad.
Yes, because my mama had moved to Milwaukee and then moved back to Gary, and I didn't want to leave my friends, so I convinced her to tell her mama she was spending the night, and we went to Milwaukee. And just the fondest memories is just everything we learned with each other, just learning how to survive at an early age, and just going through a lot of first things. And then as we got older, we dated brothers and had kids. And but ultimately, that was something that she ended up, getting killed by my youngest daughter's, my youngest biological daughter's uncle. So, um, you deal with guilt, but, I had to realize that no one knew that was going to happen. But, you date somebody and then your friend talk to the brother. So, but as far as memories, just we fought together. She was very overprotective, but she was younger, and we just did everything together. Everything.
How did the loss affect your relationship with other people, newcomers, and people, just trying to be there as a source of support for you?
That's a good question. So I realized from that, and I put it together when I started my self discovery journey, that I became a very overprotective friend of anybody that had a mean boyfriend. Um, I I just would beg them to leave. I just would get mad. It made me in relationships not tolerate absolutely nothing. Um, it just made my tolerance levels because I, you know, and sometimes I would be a bit overbearing friend because now don't get me wrong, not in your business and all of that, but if you had somebody that was being mean to you,
Yeah.
it was a trigger for me. Now regular
Mhm.
arguments and stuff like that, but if I had a friend, I just really had to know that the person loved them, and I just really really be a nervous wreck if you had a mean boyfriend.
Did you find it helpful to communicate in the method of the monologue? And if so, what feelings did that bring up out of you once you was done with it? Like, there it is. I laid it out there on the line, and that's how I was feeling.
Um, Going through it was excruciating pain. Filming it, putting it together, and things like that. But um, I'm glad I did it because I got to talk about something that I never talked about, and I allowed myself to feel something because I didn't all them years. I didn't allow myself. I was just so devastated by it that I didn't even allow myself to grieve. I didn't. And I had doing that monologue was the first time I had went to her grave. Because when it happened, I was in a daze. Yeah.
Wow.
So it allowed her children to see how I really felt, and it it allowed me to show my story instead of just talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it helped me a lot. And that's why I started pitching it. From that, I created a coaching program called Master Your Peace that I had done with a few people because I wanted to teach people how to bring that story out because it helped me so much. It even helped me when I suffered this past loss.
Hmm.
It helped me. So God set me up for what I was getting ready to go through again. But this time I had the tools that I didn't have, So
And God is so amazing in that way because what you what you think you want to do with the pieces of yourself as you trying to put them back together, he'll revert that into something totally different. And where you just looking to heal yourself, by the time you done healing yourself and telling your story to others, you done help this person, you done
Yeah.
help that person, and then you like, oh God, this is what's for me. This our new journey, huh, God?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, because
That's what I'm
I tell God in a minute, like, you tripping, bro. Like, you tripping,
for real.
like with this podcast. Like, I'm like, you tripping, bro. Like, no, me and I could hear it plain as day. Why not you?
Yeah.
Why not you?
This podcast, and I've seen you doing, I was like, yeah, she got the personality and everything.
Yeah. So I was just like, okay, well, let's go. And here we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
What strategies have you found helpful in coping with the effects of everything your life has endured, from the move to the promoting to the different business ventures?
Yeah. Um, Making time sometime. I still get overwhelmed because I want to do everything I do. I want to do it right.
Mm-hmm.
But I create a space for me, and I do a lot of communication with my circle of to let them know how I feel positively and what I need, what my needs are, because I'm a caregiver. I'm a nurturer. With anything, I'm making sure everybody's okay. But then I started learning how to do that for myself. So I make a space for myself, and I get people to understand how I feel. And when I'm getting overwhelmed, another thing though, you have to have people around you that love you enough to need you to get your space. If you're around people that don't care about you, then it's not going to work.
I
So I'm
said that
blessed. And
before. I said that in another podcast. When you find yourself in a broken place, the period of isolation where you got to draw
isn't,
back
yeah.
from everybody else and focus and hone in on you, it's a must.
People getting offended
Yeah,
or feeling some
I
type of
that's was
way
finna
because,
say that it can be very offended to those who are selfish. But you have to also just put your foot down, set those boundaries, and be selfish for the health and the well-being of self.
yeah. And when you find yourself, whether it's kids or whoever in your life that don't care about, because see, I always say, I rise to any occasion, whatever's going on. I'm a research. If I can't help them, I find out how. So um, if you don't care about me, you could see me just about to fall out, even as children, anybody. You don't care. You have to care about the person who take care of you.
Mhm.
And now I have that. I have people around me that care. The kids, they like, Mama, you've been doing too much today. Do you need anything? And they care about my mental health. You know,
Speaking
and
of your mental health, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you today mentally and emotionally?
I would say a 7.
Okay.
I would say a 7 for the simple fact of um, I'm still working on balance.
Okay.
I'm still working on balance, and a lot of unforeseen things come up with my mom a lot.
Mhm.
So it's hard to balance when you're dealing with a lot of unforeseen things because any given second she can get sick and be in a hospital. So I have to pay attention to everything, swelling, mood changes, blood pressure, things like that. So I stay praying on that. And I just be honest and say a 7 because I try not to anticipate something happening because of the shock of things always happening. Yeah. But for the most part, I have the tools. I know what to do. And like today was a good day.
Yeah.
Today was a good day.
Did you discover anything new about yourself throughout this entire process that you went through in exploring your broken place?
I did. I've been through a lot. I remember just like I had never told like give I had to give myself some grace. I gave myself some grace and I sat myself down like, just going over. I've been through a lot.
Yeah.
I've been through a lot. And I had to accept that I've been through a lot because what we do as black women, oh, ain't nothing. We brush stuff off and we don't look at the fact that we've been through a lot because we don't want people to feel sorry for us or say we looking for a pity party or, or downplay what we've been through, but you have to look at yourself. Give yourself some grace. When people telling you get mad too quick or you always this or whatever, do they consider what you've been through?
Right.
Yeah. And that's how I always look at people. So a lot of times, someone told me one day, you just like everybody, this, that, and the other. Or they feel like I got a lot of friends or whatever. Or people, I don't know what people think of me when it comes to that because I do associate with people. Like a lot of things, if it ain't like something that have to do with some bad stuff with some kids or like something like that, I don't affiliate myself with certain things, but I just operate in if somebody see me or somebody can catch me on a day where I'm cursing or something, just, you know, I just try to see the good in everybody.
Yeah.
I do. I just, now sometimes people take advantage of that and they think stuff sweet, but that's on them. But
Ain't nothing sweet.
yeah, some people do try to take advantage of that, but for the most part, I had to tell myself that you've been through a lot and you ain't just wake up like this.
What are your hopes in terms of the future? Like, what big business you gonna be working on next? We already know you plotting for the reunion next year.
Yeah,
What can we expect to come from the production team over there?
I have an extreme passion for children. Just the development of them or just offering things that they don't have. So I have a 501c3 and I'm definitely is in the works of making sure that I get that back because before I left Houston, it was becoming very successful. And I got back here and it didn't do the same. But I'm not going to be negative and say it can't happen here. It just have to have a different approach. So children, young teens, I want to go back to where I'm from, give the opportunities to people that couldn't get away. But then I don't even want to leave children out here. But that's what I'm focused on, as well as taking the gifts that, how you take what you love to do and you turn into a business, So I've been learning about kidney care and things like that. So I've been looking into developing something around a business around helping people that's at home dealing with kidneys because I didn't learn so much about it from my mom and just pretty much also, to be honest with you, learning how to not always have like something big going on, but have something going on. Because them are the things that keep me going, like hope and something to look forward to and researching and seeing what you can do with what you learned and things like that. So kids and personal care as it pertains to dialysis and things like that in the future.
How do you measure your success thus far as you plan to kind of calm down, in your 50s now? How do you measure the amount of success you've achieved?
Just I measure it by, so it's a saying, um, and I got to get the saying right. I measure it through my behavior. So I monitor um, my behaviors on the daily, because your behavior is a reflection of how happy you are. And success for me is small things that might be small to other people. Um, Success to me is if um, I encourage my mother to take all her medicine today. Um, if the kids, it's getting up doing something without me having to tell them. Like my son out in the yard right now, and I didn't ask him to do it, you know. So I had to take it off of business stuff because, you know, I always thought that success is money, how much money you got and what you had and all of that. And it's not, because those things, they come and go. And if you get people to judge you based off being successful because I got a purse or what kind of car I got, when I don't have it no more, then I have no value.
Yeah.
Yeah. So success for me is through the people I love being able to prosper due to my caregiving. What I've gave to them, I'm getting out what I put there.
When you think about the three core values of my podcast, faith, family, and foundation, what order do they take precedence in your life? Which one comes first? Which one comes second? And which one comes third?
Faith, foundation, and family. So you have to have faith in anything. So you might not have a good foundation, but you have to have faith that you're building on that foundation. So that's going to come first. You got to have faith because um, if you don't believe, you ain't going to achieve it. Okay. And with the faith, you build the foundation for your family.
My girl!
And your family to stand on top of. Yeah. So,
People prioritize that whatever way they want to. I leave the door open for them to prioritize it the way they want to. But the way you articulated it is
mhm.
exactly the way it's supposed to go. Your faith comes first because through your faith, your foundation is formed.
Yeah. And then your
And with your foundation, you're able to provide and care for and love and properly
yeah.
nurture your
Yeah. Because
family.
I can't help y'all if my faith ain't, if I don't believe I can. And I got to, I'm going before. And that's what I do in my, I go before. And I am a protector, a provider, a nurturer, all those things. And um, I have faith even with being back here, because it wasn't what I wanted, because the vibrational level here is so hard. Like the noise is so loud here with the, you know, when, and it's negative to say it, but it's, you know, I just wish that people were more nicer to each other.
Here like they is in Texas. Them people don't know a stranger. I miss it so much. I was networking, so people would like I didn't know them people, but them people was finding me on Instagram. Hey, you do nails? You got a
Yeah.
clothing line? Come to the pop up shop. Come to the. Don't worry about paying the door fee and nothing. I'm like,
All you gotta do
what's
is jump in,
wrong with these
all you gotta
people?
do is jump in a group.
Yeah, I'm like, what's wrong? But them people don't know competition. All they see is collaboration.
That's
If
all.
you winning, I'm winning, and we gonna win and eat together. That's all them people know. You need me to come promote you, I'll be there. What time I need to be there? Like my business did so well in Texas. I really miss Texas, but Texas financially is also hard living. If you don't got a plan, some
Yeah.
savings, and a
So,
support system,
like I told you,
you.
that coming back and
Mhm.
forth. See, when I was there, I was eating what I killed, doing it. But that interruption, and then I'm trying to leave them there because I don't want to disrupt them. But now they don't got the parenting that they need to keep them grounded. So now when the what they say the cat away, the mouse will play. But then I got my grown kids, and they like, mama, you gotta come back. I can't do this. And hey, yeah, you're right. When you gotta hustle and bustle, but you can do it. But if you have anything that goes on and you're trying to manage that and Houston, it's not going to work.
I felt my most successful in Houston. I
You just
felt, and
personality.
coming back home, I fell into so much depression and lacked self worth. I know who I was to Houston.
Yeah, yeah.
I know how I lived. I know what I
It
drove.
wasn't nothing against where you're from or whatever.
No, it's not. It's
Yeah,
just so easy to come up there. It's because the African American community in Houston, Texas is
dominates
full of love, connections, and
and it
sticking together.
dominates.
And yes, and they
The,
gonna stand by you as long as you standing by them.
they're the
Yes.
majority. Isn't they're blacks are the majority, not the minorities. There, yeah.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
just goes with personality and being an outgoing. And sometimes it's too much for some people, and
Yeah.
people see it for it's just party, party, party. But when you really get into Houston, and if you're there just to party, then that's all you're gonna do is party. But it's not just partying.
No, it's not. But you definitely could do that every day of the week, in the morning and in the evening. If you can go both shifts if that's what you want to do, and then just go to work and sleep, I guess, whenever you want to sleep. But if you do that, I feel like if you fall completely off in the go out culture, the club scene in Houston, oh baby, you go find yourself hurt. you
Because
and I'm not just talking about financially. You gonna be hurt. Your body gonna be sad. Like, dang, no, y'all don't call me tonight. I'm not going. You know what I mean? Like, no, no,
yeah,
I'm not coming.
for the
I'm
people
not coming to your
that's there for
house.
that. Yeah, but people that's there for that, yeah. Because
Yeah,
I live here now, so
yeah,
not the
yeah.
same. It costs $100 just to go outside.
Well, thank you. Thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you for
Thank
blessing my
you.
platform with
Nice.
your story. I really appreciate you, letting my audience see somebody who I really care about a lot.
Oh, and I love you too. You always been the same. You ain't changed other than
At
grew and
yes.
grew, Because I'm not saying you have changed, but you grew for the good. And I think you're doing a wonderful job.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank y'all, my audience, for tuning in tonight to Boss Chick. Stay tuned next week because, baby, the schedule everywhere. I don't know who is next week. I haven't even talked to my assistant. I just knew who was this week. So stay tuned next week as we dive into another story on Simply Winter M, the podcast, season 2. I'm Winter, and I'm
So
out.
many war zones, but we made it back home. Singing that we won, we shot them down. Song gripping on the chrome. I got it gone with this. keeps my mind on my money and all business that applies to me. But I got to have a boss hog nigga beside me. He confides in me 'cause he knows I ain't about seeing him stressed. I showed him proof I can hold water on these 40 deep breaths. We've been through so many war zones, but we made it back home. Singing that we won, we shot him down, song gripping on the chrome. I got him gone with this